As kids, we grew to learn that the word justice means being fair and often connected to the good, the neutral, and the bad. However, Undertale Yellow plays in a complex field of justice that it's difficult to pinpoint what is good or bad. In fact, it's paradoxical in the sense that it is heroic but tragic. Undertale mainly focused on Frisk's character and their involvement around the concept of determination and exploring the underworld, while Undertale Yellow explores justice from different characters other than the main character themselves. In this video, we'll be talking about those characters and how they portray their own kind of justice. Clover is the main character of Undertale Yellow, and it's pretty obvious that they have a lot of justice in their heart, simply because they are the epitome of justice. Similar to the original game, the player can pick a route from their actions. Same rule applies wherein it's kill or be killed. Unlike Undertale, where it's kind of difficult to know what Frisk's actions are, Clover has a more straightforward goal in mind as you venture in Mount Ebit. When you boot up the game and don't skip the intro cutscene, you will see that Clover willingly approaches the mountain, whereas Frisk fell in accidentally. Clover approached Mount Ebit for their main goal, to find the 5 missing souls. Knowing Clover's intentions, the player's actions are more understandable, whether they choose to be peaceful in the underground or commit war crimes against monsters. There are 3 reasons behind this. Clover ventured into Mount Ebit to find the 5 missing souls. Their main goal was to know and explore the reasoning as to why these 5 souls have gone missing in the first place. Clover could settle this dilemma peacefully, aiming to only look for these missing souls, or through violence, by killing everyone and everything holding them back to find these souls. Their chaotic choices can also be attributed to revenge, as it's possible that Clover knows what happened to the souls, why the monsters needed it, and seeks to slaughter every monster underground. There's also a possibility that Clover just wanted to find answers as to why they're gone in the first place. Either way, Clover's exploration isn't accidental, but deliberate. Let's say Clover knows what's going on in the underground. Since their adventure is their choice, it's possible that they've heard stories about the souls, the monster's living situation, or even just mythical fairy tales that have branched out from history. This curiosity might have pushed them to understand both point of views, the humans and the monsters. Perhaps from these POVs, we can get the motives of Clover and find out why they do the things they do. Clover is capable of human emotion. Now, before any of you say that they're just a video game character, I'd like to emphasize that this doesn't make them any less human, as they are a portrayal of a human soul. Clover can feel complex behavior, which is evident from the 2 extreme routes: true pacifist and genocide. In true pacifist, Clover is seen to empathize with the monsters and sacrifice their soul to finally set them free, whereas in genocide, Clover is filled with hatred and anger against the monsters for killing 5 human souls. Albeit that they're difficult feelings, it's no doubt that they're justified as we play along in the game. As I said previously, in the 2 possible endings of the game, there are 2 ways that emphasize justice. Justice for the monsters and justice for the people. If you've been interested in the lore of Undertale, you'd know that the humans entrapped the monsters underground after winning the war of humans and monsters. There have been theories on the internet as to why they sealed them, but mainly due to fear and prejudice. Though it is true that the monsters sought for revenge and wanted to get out of the underground to get back at the humans and finish them once and for all. Although monsters are terrifying for their ideology of revenge and hatred, let's remember that the monster souls are astronomically weaker than the human soul in the Undertale universe. This means that humans can absolutely obliterate the entire monster kind and have little to no casualties in the aftermath. It is possible that the monsters just want to live a peaceful life and coexist with the humans again. Being trapped underground can lead to isolation and can actually be depressing. Setting them free from Mountain Ebit may not mean revenge against humans, but rather a way for them to live with the humans. Throughout the game, we eventually meet characters that don't mean to cause any harm to humanity at all. They grew up to hate humans, But even that public scrutiny against them did not work for some characters. Examples being Martlet, Starlo, and his crew. Meeting them may have possibly introduced new ideas to Clover, ultimately deciding to give their soul to King Asgore to serve justice for the monsters that the humans did not show back in the war. Despite all of those backstories, it's also possible that Clover seeks revenge for the lost souls. Revenge, although usually advised against it, is normal human behavior. People want their suffering to be felt by the ones who hurt them too, which isn't ideal but understandable. Clover wanted to hurt the monsters that hurt their kind. Therefore, them going on a killing spree is justified for the souls that have been lost. Clover exhibits two different kinds of justice, each having their own pros and cons, but not inherently villainous or heroic. The complexity of Clover's values may be attributed to the player's own, but the choices they make still make sense as to why they're doing them to begin with. Ceroba Ketsukane is a major character in Undertale Yellow, serving as the final antagonist in the pacifist route. She's known for being the best friend of Starlo and the wife of Shujin. Shujin is a scientist and engineer in the Royal Kingdom, whose scientific career ended due to unexpected circumstances. Even so, he was motivated by his hatred for humankind to keep working on his projects despite being fired. He hid this from Ceroba up until his death due to self-experimentation. His death was detrimental to Ceroba, eventually continuing his work to better monster kind. This twisted vision of reality altered her own values, especially her sense of justice. Her character is interesting because it can be connected to the justice Clover feels in the genocide route. Blaming the humans for so long, Ceroba's way of perceiving restorative justice is to complete Shujin's legacy and overall protect the monster kind's future. Her sense of justice stemmed from her trauma. Ever since her husband's death, her life has pretty much gone into shit. After some time of her husband's passing, her daughter dies from the same fate her husband has, because she thought that it would finally work, that the serum would finally let them free from the underground and overall protect them. She was wrong. And her daughter let out her final words. From this backstory alone, we can kind of understand why she was looking for a pure human soul, one that hasn't killed yet. From an objective standpoint, her sense of justice is messed up and is considered villainous by many. However, if we look at this from her perspective, it's understandable that she had good intentions for her own kind and just wanted to bring peace to her people. Just like Clover, Martlet sought justice for her kind in the genocide route. Out of the three characters I've mentioned so far, hers is probably the most reasonable and justified kind. She works under the Royal Guard, but unlike most of them, she holds the benefit of the doubt. She doesn't judge them based on their actions before. She may be naive throughout the entire game, regardless of the route taken. She wanted to fight for the lives that were lost in the genocide route. Her lack of social awareness is present, yes, but her way of making up to that was to take an overpowered serum that could cost her life just to fight a mass murderer. It's a sacrifice she had to make in order to stop the elimination of monster kind. She wanted to let Clover know of the monsters they've killed to get to their end goal. She's the epitome of guilt because she actually checks up on you in almost every area to let you know that whatever you're doing is just blatantly wrong. What's interesting about Martlet's character is the fact that she brings her rulebook everywhere she goes. Justice is often associated with laws, courts, rules, and regulations. The fact that she brings her own Royal Guard handbook everywhere shows that even without pursuing mass murder and genocide, she already has a sense of justice within. Her way of imposing justice is more obvious compared to the other characters, but in the end, she still encompasses that value within her. Instead of running away and hiding from Clover, he stood his ground to protect them. Mind you, he had a toy gun with him, therefore his fate was sealed as he chose to stay. He was meant to die from the hands of the player. Instead of running away, choosing to go back with his family, he offers a duel with Clover. A duel that would ultimately end in a loss, no matter who gets shot first. Although a small act of bravery, He cared for his town. He chose to protect it, even without any sort of viable weapon against the human. He chose to be fair and duel with someone who had higher stakes than him. This in itself shows equality and fairness, even when realistically you cannot win. Undertale Yellow shows justice in a realistic sense that it differs from the experiences of the monsters and the humans. The monsters believe that they deserve a second chance to live with the humans or, to cause war and get revenge from them. The humans, on the other hand, want justice for the lost souls, the ones who got killed, the ones who were missing. The complexity of the game's portrayal of justice shows that there is no good or bad side. Realistically, yes, there are people who do good and bad things, and they differ by a lot. There are dilemmas that don't have a middle ground, they only show the good and bad. On the other hand, there are some scenarios where injustice is more than just the good and the bad. It's deeper, more complex, and difficult to understand from the surface. Justice is more than just the good, the neutral, and the bad. It's about what's true and what we're willing to do to be fair with each other.